Okay, well here we are, Finch Farm, David Unsworth's first press conference, or second first press conference if you like, as caretaker Everton manager. We've just heard from him. He spent about 20 minutes speaking to the press in the room just to my left here, behind me. Pretty straightforward. He's a very straightforward guy, David Unsworth. You'll obviously be aware of him for his work with the under-23s. He spoke very confidently, very straightforward, as I say. He didn't make any great promises. He didn't make any grand statements particularly. He just said that he's proud to be in charge of the team. He's proud to be asked by Bill Kenwright, Farhad Moshiri, to be the leader of Everton. He's going to take them down to Chelsea tonight ahead of the Carabao Cup 4th round tie at Stamford Bridge tomorrow. He says that it will be one of the proudest days of his life. He actually said that he wants the job on a full-time basis, albeit he doesn't know how long he will have the job at the moment. He's going to get this game, he's probably going to get Sunday's game at Leicester, and with games at Lyon and Watford to come, then it could be a 4-game audition for the job on a full-time basis. We've seen the other people named as well, the likes of Sean Dyche, the likes of Carlo Ancelotti, the likes of Thomas Tuchel, the likes of David Moyes, even Sam Allardyce, people like that, they're all in the frame. But David Unsworth says only results will dictate whether he's got any future as Everton manager, and I think that's fair enough. I think everyone will agree with that. He was asked what type of football he'd like to bring to Everton. His answer was winning football. He said he's got a very clear idea of how he wants to do it. He said he's got a very clear idea of how he wants his team to play and how he thinks Evertonians want their team to play. He says he'll carry through what he's done with the under-23s into the first team environment. He says he took a training session this morning at 11 o'clock. After speaking with the players, he said there was a nice zip and a bounce to the players. They were buzzing, they were taking on board what he said, and that could only be a positive thing. We'll see whether it transfers into the game tomorrow night. In terms of specific players, he didn't go into great detail except for on one occasion. He spoke about Ross Barkley, and he was asked whether Ross Barkley's situation changes with Ronald Koeman having left. He said perhaps. He said he would love to sit down with Ross and have a cup of tea with him and discuss whether he might sign a new contract. He said he's a homegrown player. He said he's a top player. He also said he could be an all-time Everton great. Some statements, I did say earlier that he made no grand statements. Well, that's the exception to the rule. He said Ross Barkley can be an all-time great and he would love him to stay at Everton. Whether he'll convince him, whether he, Bill Kenwright, Farhad Moshiri can do that remains to be seen. But he said Ross Barkley has been spoken to in the gym this morning and he will be seeing whether he can convince him to sign a new contract. He's in the final 6 months, or closing in on the final 6 months of his Everton contract at the moment. In terms of team news, he said that Morgan Schneiderlin and James McCarthy are both available for selection, but just the guy is suspended, so that's a boost in terms of midfield options to have those two back fit. He said that he won't be sweeping changes. He said he won't be making massive alterations to the setup or the team selection, but he did say he does know his team and there will be tweaks here and there which are going to be incorporated into the game tomorrow. In terms of his staff, he said he'll be assisted by Joe Royle, John Everell and Duncan Ferguson, who remains over from the Koeman era. He's also brought in Alan Kelly as his goalkeeping coach. You might remember Alan Kelly, former Republic of Ireland international, who's worked with Unsworth at Preston North End. He's cut short a holiday to fly back from Ireland to be part of Unsworth's new look staff. In terms of the under-23s, they're playing at Lincoln tonight in the Sheffield Trade Trophy. Francis Jeffers will be in charge there. So that's the state of play at Everton. Like I say, I think it was hard not to be to come away with the opinion really that David Unsworth's just a good guy, and you wish him all the very best in his 4-game audition. It might only be 4 games, it might only be 1 game, it might be 2, but he's going to give it his best shot, and hopefully he can get a few results and performances under his belt for Everton.